It's really something, yeah, how comedy and politics, they just keep bumping into each other.
Yeah.
And especially in India, with how lively their public debates are.
Oh, yeah.
It's like when these two forces collide, they just create these huge sparks.
Absolutely. You've got this space where satire can offer some truly insightful social commentary, right?
Right.
But at the same time, it's a space where people are really sensitive.
Yeah.
So what might be a harmless joke to one person
Uh-huh.
could totally offend someone else.
Exactly.
You've seen a perfect example of that just recently.
We have, and today we are diving deep into all the drama surrounding comedian Kunal Kamra's latest performance.
Oh, this is a good one.
He went after Eknath Shinde, the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra.
I know him.
And, well, let's just say his set really stirred things up.
I bet it did.
We've been digging into all sorts of news reports, even some of Kamra's own statements,
Right.
to really understand what went down and what it says about free speech in India today.
Yeah, that's the big question.
So we're not just going to rehash what happened, are we?
No,
We're
no.
going to break it down step by step and look at all the different perspectives.
Yeah.
And really try to figure out what this means for artists who use their work to, make statements about politics and society.
The big picture.
Okay, so picture this. The Habitat, a comedy club in Mumbai,
Right.
Kamra's on stage,
I could see it.
known for his sharp political satire, right? And he takes this famous Hindi song, Boli Si Surat,
Okay.
and he gives it a political twist.
Oh, I see where this is going.
The line that really set everything off was, Mere nazar se tum dekho to gada nazar wo aaye. Hai.
Oh, yeah, that's pointed.
Now, for those who don't speak Hindi, that translates to something like, you see from my perspective, he looks like a traitor, alas.
And he was talking about
Eknath Shinde.
directly at him.
Straight up calling him a traitor.
Wow.
And he was referencing that whole 2022 political shakeup.
Right, when Shinde rebelled within the Shiv Sena party.
And brought down the Maharashtra state government.
Yeah, huge political move.
So, yeah, this wasn't just some vague jab.
No.
It was a very deliberate, very specific criticism.
So how did Shinde's party take it?
Well, Shiv Sena,
Yeah.
they did not hold back.
I imagine not.
It wasn't just some strongly worded statements.
Yeah.
Reports started coming out about Shiv Sena activists heading straight to the Habitat.
Oh, wow, they took it to the streets.
Things escalated pretty quickly.
So they actually went to the club in person.
That's right.
What happened?
We've seen reports, some even with pictures and videos of a group of these activists going into the Habitat,
Right into the club.
and they just started destroying stuff.
Really?
They trashed furniture, vandalized the place,
Oh, man.
and to make their message extra clear, some of them were wearing scarves.
Oh,
Oh.
to show their affiliation,
Yeah, with the Shiv Sena emblem right on them.
making it clear who they were.
So this wasn't just online outrage anymore. It was a direct physical attack on the venue.
That's a scary thought when anger spills over into the real world like that.
It is. And to add fuel to the fire, some Shiv Sena leaders make some really strong statements.
Yeah, how so?
Krishna Hegde, one of their spokespeople,
Okay.
came out and said, arrest Kamra immediately.
No messing around.
He basically said Kamra was insulting the whole state of Maharashtra with his jokes.
Wow.
But then Naresh Mahask, another Shiv Sena member, said something even more alarming.
What was that?
He reportedly threatened Kamra directly,
Directly.
saying something like, Kamra won't be able to move freely anywhere in India.
Oh, that's a whole other level. That's not just criticism. It sounds like a threat.
It does, right?
Yeah, like a direct threat to his safety.
And when you've got a political figure suggesting someone might not be safe just for telling a joke, that raises some serious red flags about free speech.
For sure. Where do you draw the line between acceptable dissent and, well, something that puts you in danger?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the Habitat, they were caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, they were just the venue.
They didn't write the jokes.
Right.
So how did they react?
They can't blame them for being worried.
They shut down temporarily for safety reasons.
Makes sense. I wouldn't want to be in their shoes.
And they released a statement.
What'd they say?
They were basically like, we're shocked that we're being targeted and blamed for this.
Right.
We just provide the space. We don't control what every comedian says.
It puts venues in a really tough spot.
It does.
Yeah.
So you've got the performance, the backlash, the threats,
Yeah.
but it didn't end there.
No.
Things escalated even further when the legal system got involved.
Oh, so it went to court.
Yep. Murji Patel, a Shiv Sena MLA,
A member of the Legislative Assembly.
filed a formal police complaint.
Okay.
And this led to the Car police station in Mumbai filing something called an FIR against Kamra.
An FIR? What's that?
It stands for First Information Report.
Okay.
And for those not familiar with Indian legal terms,
Right.
it's basically the first step in a formal investigation.
So this means they are seriously looking into this.
Absolutely. It means the police are officially investigating Kamra.
So what exactly are they accusing him of?
So the FIR lists a couple of charges.
Okay.
One is defamation.
Right. Damaging someone's reputation.
Exactly.
In the other charge?
The other one is statements conducing to public mischief.
That sounds broad.
It is. It's basically anything that could cause public alarm or disturbance.
I see.
But that wasn't all. Praveen Derekar, a BJP legislator,
From the Bharatiya Janata Party?
also filed what's called a breach of privilege notice.
Okay, so that's separate from the FIR.
Totally separate.
What's a breach of privilege exactly?
It basically means that someone has disrespected the legislature.
Like the parliament or state assembly?
Exactly, or its members.
Interesting.
Derekar's argument was that Kamra insulted Deputy Chief Minister Shinde.
Through his performance.
Yes, and because Shinde is a member of the Legislative Council.
It became a breach of privilege.
So basically, Kamra was facing legal trouble on two fronts.
The police investigation and the legislature?
And the police wasted no time.
What did they do?
They summoned Kamra for questioning.
As part of the FIR investigation?
Yeah, and they actually summoned him twice.
Twice. In a row.
Pretty quickly, one after the other.
That's not a good sign for Kamra.
He asked for a week to appear before them.
To prepare, maybe?
Probably, but they said no.
They denied his request.
Which just shows how seriously they were taking this.
Wow, so the pressure was really mounting on him.
And then, to make things even worse,
It gets worse.
Kamra's phone number got leaked online.
Oh no, his personal number.
Yep, and after that,
That's not good.
he was bombarded with hundreds of threatening calls.
Hundreds.
Some reports said over 500.
That's terrifying, just for telling a joke.
It really shows how online outrage can turn into real-world harassment.
Yeah, that mob mentality can be really scary.
But then, there's a bit of good news for Kamra.
What happened?
On March 28th, the Madras High Court granted him interim anticipatory bail.
Okay, I know bail, but what's anticipatory bail?
It's basically protection from arrest.
So they can't just take him into custody?
Right, while he tries to get regular bail.
So it's like a temporary safeguard?
Exactly. But it wasn't unconditional.
What were the conditions?
He had to go down to Vennur, a town in Tamil Nadu,
Okay.
and execute a bond in front of a magistrate there.
So he had to travel to Tamil Nadu?
Yep. The court also sent a notice to the car police in Mumbai.
The ones handling the FIR?
Yeah, and set the next hearing for April 7th.
So it's not over yet, but at least he's not behind bars.
Now, the whole Tamil Nadu connection is interesting.
Is there a reason it's happening there?
When Kamra applied for bail, he said he'd actually moved to Tamil Nadu.
Oh, really? When did that happen?
Back in February 2021, and he also said he feared for his safety.
Because of the threats?
Yeah, all the threats he'd been getting.
That makes sense.
So that likely explains why the Madras High Court got involved.
It probably influenced their decision to grant him bail.
So Kamra gets some relief, but the legal battle is far from over.
Right. It sounds like a long road ahead.
And throughout all this, Kamra's been very defiant.
Has he apologized at all?
Nope, not a word.
Wow.
He's basically said, I won't apologize or hide. It's not illegal to make fun of politicians.
He's standing his ground.
He even said, I'm not intimidated by this mob. I won't back down out of fear.
Taking a strong stance.
He sees this as a fight for free speech.
That's a big principle to stand on.
It is, and even when the police questioned him,
Yeah, what happened there?
he reportedly told them he had no regrets
Still standing by his jokes.
and that he'd only apologize if a court ordered him to.
Interesting. So he's respecting the legal process.
But he's not giving in on his right to free expression.
That's a tough line to walk.
It is. And this isn't Kamra's first brush with controversy.
Oh, he's had other run-ins.
Yeah, this Shinde thing is just the latest chapter.
What else has he been involved in?
He's actually in a legal battle with T-Series right now.
T-Series, the music label.
Yeah, it's about his Naiv Harat video.
Oh, I've heard of that. What's the issue?
It's a copyright dispute. T-Series is trying to block his video
From being online.
from YouTube and other places.
Wow.
Kamra's accusing them of using mafia tactics.
Strong words.
He's arguing that his video is parody, which is protected under fair use.
So he's saying it's a commentary on their work.
Yeah, and that he doesn't need their permission.
That's a common defense in copyright cases, but it can be tricky.
He can be. But it seems like Kamra isn't afraid to take on powerful institutions.
Whether it's the government or big corporations.
And speaking of Naya Farhat, that's the same show where he made those jokes about Sudha Murty and Narayana Murthy.
Oh, yeah, the Infosys folks.
He joked about Sudha Murty's simple lifestyle.
Which he talks about a lot.
Yeah, and Narayana Murthy's idea that young professionals should work 70 hours a week.
That caused a lot of debate.
It did. So his satire isn't limited to just politicians.
He's taking on a wider range of figures.
And this whole pattern of controversy, it goes back even further.
Oh, yeah, wasn't there something with the Supreme Court?
Back in 2020, he got in trouble for some social media posts.
What did he say?
Stuff that the Supreme Court considered disrespectful.
To them?
Yeah, and to specific judges.
Oh, wow.
They actually found him in contempt of court.
That's a serious legal issue.
It is. So this isn't a one-off thing.
This is a pattern of behavior.
Kamra has a history of pushing boundaries and making people uncomfortable.
Which is kind of the point of satire sometimes.
It is. So with all this going on, how have other people reacted?
Like in the comedy world.
Yeah, and beyond.
I'm sure there are a lot of opinions out there.
There are. Tanmay Bhatt, another comedian,
I know.
recently said it's been an interesting week for comedy.
I bet. Everyone's on edge.
He also mentioned that other comedians were checking in on him.
Making sure he was okay.
Yeah, after the whole Kamra thing.
So there's definitely a sense of solidarity.
Among comedians, like, hey, we gotta watch out for each other.
That makes sense. It's a risky business sometimes.
It is. And outside the comedy world,
What are politicians and others saying?
it's a mixed bag.
As you'd expect.
Filmmaker Hansal Mehta and politician Priyanka Chaturvedi
Okay.
have both condemned the backlash against Kamra.
Saying what?
They're calling it an attack on artistic freedom.
Right. The right to express yourself.
And even Aditya Thackeray,
Who used to be with Shinde's faction?
but is now in the opposition.
Okay.
He came out in support of Kamra.
Interesting. So even within the political world, there's no consensus.
Nope, not at all. And on the other
They're
side,
critics.
you've got BJP leaders and even actor Kangana Ranaut.
Yeah, she's outspoken.
They've all criticized Kamra,
For disrespecting Shinde.
saying he went too far.
And Shinde herself.
He said, there's freedom of speech, but there should be limits.
So he's not denying the right to free speech.
But he thinks Kamra crossed the line.
And Maharashtra Minister Gulab Patil was even more direct.
What did he say?
He basically threatened Kamra with consequences if he didn't apologize. So the ruling party is not happy.
Not at all. So this whole thing really highlights that tension.
Between artistic expression and political sensitivity.
In India and everywhere, really.
It does make you wonder, how much space is there for satire?
Especially when it comes to politics.
In a democracy, shouldn't you be able to criticize your leaders?
It's a complex issue.
And the fact that the habitat closed down temporarily
Fear.
speaks volume.
They said they might have to rethink how they promote free expression,
Wow, so it's having a chilling effect.
while also protecting their safety and property.
It's a tough balance.
It is. So this national conversation we're seeing,
About Kamra and free speech.
it boils down to a few key questions.
Yeah, what are those?
Where do you draw the line with humor, especially when it comes to politicians?
Right. When does satire become something more serious?
Is satire a vital part of a healthy democracy?
Or is it disrespectful and potentially harmful?
These are big questions.
And there are no easy answers.
So here we are, March 28th, 2025.
Right.
Kamra has interim bail,
For now.
but the legal battle is ongoing.
What happens next?
The next hearing is in early April.
So we'll have to wait to see.
It's a developing situation with a lot at stake.
More than just Kamra's fate.
Exactly. This case could set a precedent for artists all over India,
For how far they can push the boundaries.
and for venues, whether they'll be willing to host controversial content.
It could have a chilling effect on free speech.
It really could. So, as we wrap up our deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with a question to think about.
What's that?
What is the role of satire in a democracy?
It's a good question.
How do we balance the right to criticize with the need for respect and civil discourse?
Right. It's a delicate balance.
And what happens when that balance is broken?
That's what we're seeing play out right now with Kamra.
It is, and it's something we all need to think about
Yeah.
because it affects us all.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll keep you updated as the story unfolds.
Sounds good.